Hey guys, it's me. Of course it's me. Again. There's the moment that you've all been waiting for. The long-awaited Snowman tutorial. And I apologize so very much that it's taken so long to get this to you. I guess I seriously underestimated the amount of mesh that I was going to need. And I think that the next time I do a snowman, I'm going to use 10-inch mesh as opposed to the 6-inch mesh, or this happens to be 5.5-inch mesh from Hobby Lobby. I actually had a bunch of Dollar Tree mesh from over the summer from the 4th of July. I had probably like 12 rolls of the white Dollar Tree mesh, and that's sort of what gave me the idea to use the white mesh, or excuse me, the 6-inch mesh as opposed to the 10-inch mesh. If you've gotten my Snowman centerpiece tutorial, that one is using 10-inch mesh. And I think, you know, whether you use this mesh or whether you use the 10-inch, it's still going to come out nice. Your curls are going to be a little bit longer, your spirals with the 10-inch, and that's fine. But again, I chose to use this because I had a bunch of it on hand. But the problem is I didn't have enough. And because what I did is I started it. And the reason why I'm filming the tutorial instead of doing it live is because, as you know, the Snowman comes in 3 sections. You know, you've got your head, which is an 8-inch wreath form. You have the middle part of his body, which was a 12-inch wreath form, and then the bottom, which was a 16-inch wreath form. So you're basically making 3 wreaths, and I didn't see that there was any way possible for us to do that in a live class. It would have just taken forever. And so what I basically did was I did the head and I did the middle part of the body, and I'll show you that in a minute. And it literally took me probably 3 hours just to do the head and the middle part of the body. So you can see how it's kind of a time-consuming project. And what happened was I started to do the bottom of his body, which you can see here. It almost kind of looks like a Christmas tree. But that's as far as I got on the bottom part of his body, and I ran out of mesh. And Hobby Lobby had, of course, you can't find the white at Dollar Tree anymore. They don't have the white. They just have the white with the red in it for the holidays. But Hobby Lobby had run out of this mesh, and they didn't have it in stock. So it took me a while to get it again. This is why this tutorial's taken so long. But there's another part of the story that I didn't tell you. When I was recording the tutorial for the bottom part of his body, which you can see is almost done, that's when I ran out of the mesh, and somehow that video got deleted. I don't know what happened. I record all my videos through Zoom, the conferencing program that we use to do our live classes. And when I went to look for the class, the video that one day, it was gone. And I called them and they couldn't tell me what happened to it. It was some sort of a glitch. So you're not going to be able to see that part of the video, me making this, because it was lost. But don't worry, because obviously I'm going to be finishing this, and you're going to see the same technique that I used to put the spirals on. You can see that there's a plastic canvas on here. So what I'm just going to do, if you guys aren't familiar with, and I apologize for that, this has just been a crazy process with the Snowman, with running out of the mesh and then my video getting deleted. What I'm going to show you is, if you folks have never made a wreath form where you need to fill in the middle with the plastic canvas, even though I've already done this, I'm just going to show you with another wreath form how I did that, because that's an important step. You're going to want to see that. So I'm just going to show you with this wreath form how you fill in the center with the plastic canvas. I'm just going to fill this one in, and maybe I'll use it to make a flower. It doesn't matter. But you need to see that part because it's important, because you're going to be doing that with all 3 of your wreath forms for your snowman. You're going to want to fill that in with this plastic canvas. And I happen to have 3 sheets of this. This is left over from my burlap tree. So you can get these from Hobby Lobby. This is the biggest size they have. They also have the pre-cut circles, and I think the 9.5-inch will fit in the center of a 14-inch form, which is what this is from Dollar Tree. Since the bottom half of your snowman is 16 inches, don't buy that. you're better off just buying the big sheet, and then you'll have enough actually to fill this in, and probably to fill in the top half as well of your snowman, because it's only 8 inches. So if you buy one of these big sheets, this will be enough to fill in the bottom half. Actually, you know what, I have to take that back, because this is a 14-inch frame. And the bottom half of the snowman is 16 inches. So you're better off just buying, let me think for a second here. You can buy the circle. There's a small circle that you can buy for his head. I'm almost positive they have the smaller circles there. So when you're going to buy the plastic canvas for the head, let me actually just measure the back of his head, and I can tell you how big that piece needs to be. Because the center of his head is small, of that wreath form. Let me just measure it right now here for you. It's only 5 inches. It's an 8-inch wreath form. It's only 5 inches across in the middle. So when you go to buy your plastic canvas for the head, see if you can find a circle that's at least 5 inches wide or 5 inches in diameter. That'll go for your head, okay? I would buy 2 pieces of this, okay? One for the 16-inch form, okay? This is a 14-inch form, but it'll still fit in the 16 inch. This is a big piece, okay? And buy one for the middle part of his body, which is 12 inches. So buy 2 of these. They're only a couple of bucks a piece, but I just want to show you how to attach the plastic canvas. This is a 14-inch frame. This is not what you're going to be using, but the process is going to be the same. Because my video got deleted, I didn't get a chance to show you that part. But let me just grab a marker real quick. This is the same procedure that you're going to use if you ever want to make a flower. Like if you made the poinsettia flower in my class, it's the same procedure. You're just going to take your canvas. You might even want to do it this way. Turn your frame upside down and just trace a hole. Just trace it. Because you want it to fill the center of your wreath form. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just a guide for you to cut. This stuff is easy to cut. Let me find my scissors here. I'm going to have a lot of extra here, but you know what? Like I said, these are only a couple of dollars. They're not expensive. They're in the sewing department at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure Joann's has them. I'm pretty sure Walmart has them. I just happened to have been in Hobby Lobby the other day. And I knew I needed one for my burlap trees, so I grabbed a few. Like I said, maybe since I'm cutting this right now, maybe I'll make a flower out of this. I have some mesh I can use to make a flower with. So there's your circle. And as you can see, it fits right in the center. It doesn't matter if it goes right to the edge. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a perfect fit, okay? As long as it's relatively close. And then you're just going to take some zip ties. I'm just going to zip tie this to your wreath form. I like to go on each cross section and put a zip tie. You just go through one of the holes here. Let's see if this has holes in it. Let's see the holes. Okay. And just start attaching it to your wreath form. Again, I'm showing you this step because my video got deleted and it stinks. I can't get it back, but we're going to be okay. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. Try not to tighten it all the way until you get the other side zip tied as well. You don't want it to pull too far over to one side. And if you zip tie it really tight on one side, you're going to have a big gap on the other side. So then you have, just go to the opposite side now. Put your other zip tie in. And then you can tighten it and try to make it even on both sides. I did a pretty good job with the circle. It's pretty even. Again, if you have a gap, if you happen to mess up on your cutting or your tracing and you didn't, cut a perfect circle, it's not a big deal. Again, this is sort of pulled over a little bit too far on this side, so I don't want to tighten the zip tie all the way yet. Make sure I get it in the center. Go across to the other side. And you can tighten it when they're about even on both sides. This is pretty easy to do. It's pretty fast. I definitely want to do another flower for the spring. We did the poinsettia a couple of months ago. I'd love to do maybe a white flower or a pink flower for spring. I think that would be really pretty, and it's the same technique. You can either use 10-inch mesh for your flower, or you can use Dollar Tree mesh, 6-inch mesh. A lot of people are intimidated by the flowers. I was intimidated as well, I'll be honest with you, until I made my first one and I saw my poinsettia and how gorgeous it came out. It is time consuming, but it's definitely worth it. Anything that you make yourself is worth it, if you put the time and effort into it and you see, your gorgeous end product. And that's it. You don't have to worry about attaching, a zip tie, in these gaps here, these spaces. As long as you have it at each cross section, you're good. And then you just cut them off. You just cut off your extras. And there you have a wreath form that's ready to be filled in. And I will show you how to do that. There it is. Exactly what your wreath forms are going to look like for your snowman, all three. You're going to want to do that process with all three of your wreath forms for your snowman. Very easy. Now, I'm going to show you what I did so far. This is actually, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. This is the bottom half, or the middle of my snowman, and this is his head. Okay, you can see I already filled him in. This is the shorter mesh. If you're going to be using the 10-inch mesh, you're going to have longer curls, but that's okay. Look how cute that face came out. And I'm going to show you what I did with that, okay? These are just buttons. These are just black buttons. I don't really know what size they are. I just grabbed some buttons from Hobby Lobby. His nose, I will show you. All I did is I had some orange burlap left over from some fall or Halloween project, and I just cut a little length of it. I want to say maybe, pull his nose out so you can see it because it's not glued in. His nose is not very long. I want to say, you don't have to use burlap, you can use orange ribbon. Doesn't he look funny sitting there without a nose? This is 2 inches, okay? I was thinking about making a pointy nose, but then I thought it looked better just having like a little square or a little circle. So all I did, so you take your orange burlap and you cut a 2-inch piece, okay? And I just rolled it. I just rolled it really tight, okay? And like a little cigar, and I glued it. I hot glued it. This end's fraying a little bit, but that doesn't matter. That's going to go in his, I stuck him right in the little spiral here. You can see the little spiral, and I'm gonna glue it so it stays. But that's it. That's how I made his nose, and look how cute that is. It doesn't stick out too awful far, but I didn't want a nose that was going to stick out too far. And I was thinking about how I was going to make the mouth, and what I settled on was I just got a little roll of black yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I braided it because I thought the one line of the yarn was too thin, so I just braided it. And I can't tell you how long it is. Let me see. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 inches. I haven't glued it on yet, but that's his mouth. And I think that's a pretty cute snowman face. And I also got my hat from I actually got my hat from Craft Outlet, and it was $5. You can, use whatever hat you want. You can make a hat. Some people, I think I saw somebody said that they made a hat out of a ribbon spool. That would be kind of small, I think. I don't know. He's got kind of a big head. So all I'm going to do, I don't know if I want that in the front or I kind of want it off to the side like that. I think when I get ready to glue it on, I'm just going to kind of tilt it off to the side a little bit. Let me, just kind of like that. Isn't that so cute? I don't know if I want it like straight like that. I think I'm just going to kind of put it at an angle. I want you to be able to see his eyes. But isn't that so cute? So that's his head, and that's is the middle part of his body, okay? And after I made the wreaths, which I'm going to show you how I did that, all you do is you just, I'm going to have to maybe I'll just glue his mouth on right now. I like the way his mouth is situated there. I don't really want to lose that, but I guess I can fix that after. All you do, I have to take it off for a minute, is you just zip tie it together, okay? I just took 3 zip ties, actually, yep, 3, and I just zip tied, you can see the 3 zip ties right there, 1, 2, 3. I just zip tied the 2 wreath forms together. And it's going to bend, okay, but if you have it flat against your wall, it's, it doesn't matter. Like I said, if this is something you're going to be hanging on a door, you may want to consider getting a piece of felt or a couple of pieces of felt to cover the back of that, just so it doesn't scratch your door. I think I fixed his mouth. It looks okay now. I'll move it over a little bit. You don't even know how much time I spent playing with his mouth to get it to look the way I wanted to. There you go. I'm going to glue him on in a minute here. So let's get to the important part here, which is how you attach your mesh. So let me get back to my wreath form that I started, but I couldn't finish. Now, when I did the other 2 wreaths for his head and his body, I started on the outside and I went in, meaning I started adding my spirals to the outside and then I went into the center. This one I did a little bit different, okay? I started on the center and I went out. And for some reason it looks like it's a little more raised. Not that that really matters. Blurry here. Your goal is just to get your wreath form filled in, okay? So how we do that is this. You have your white pipe cleaners. You're going to want to cut them in half. You don't need a whole pipe cleaner. Now, I did 2 spirals per pipe cleaner, okay? Now, since I already got this filled in, it's going to be kind of hard to show you. Maybe I'll show you with the other wreath form, just so you can get an idea of how I did the middle, okay? So when you have your plastic canvas here, just start by rolling. Try to roll it as tight as you can. Roll your mesh, roll your mesh. You can do 2 spirals per section or bundle. You can do 3. It's all in what you like. I'm going to use my, that's not going to work. I need to get the big guns out here. I'm going to use my Sam's Club ribbon to hold this down. I'm just going to show you this for the purpose of just showing you how you attach it to your plastic canvas. Your 2 spirals together, crisscross them, make a little X, with your pipe cleaner. What I like to do after I get the pipe cleaner around it is I grab it and I pull it up tight and then I twist. And what that does is it forces your little spirals to go up. And that's what you want. By pulling it like that and then twisting it, you want your spirals to go up, okay? All you do, whether you start on the outside or whether you start in the middle, doesn't matter. But you're going to want to put your pipe cleaners through the little holes, okay? If you want to start right in the middle, you can do that. Just find a couple of holes right next to each other. Stick your pipe cleaners in and twist in the back. Give it a couple of twists and kind of lay it down. You can clip all those off after, okay? And then you're just going to keep putting your pipe cleaner or putting your mesh in. That's really all it is. You're just filling it in. The tighter that you fill it in, the closer that you get them together, the more your spirals are going to stand up. And that's what you want. You want your spirals to stand up like that, okay? And as you fill in, okay, try to get as close to each one as you can. As it gets fuller, it's going to be harder for you to get them close because it's going to be so compact. So don't worry about it so much as you get to the outside. And I'll show you. That's all you do. When you're doing the center, you just push it through the little holes. Let me get my other one back here. Now, what I mean by what I just said here, this is almost full in the center, okay? And they're pretty close together here, okay? You're not going to need to get them that close as you're going to the outside. So I'm just going to push this aside and stick it in two of the holes. The holes don't have to be right next to each other. And twist. And then as you add more spirals, it's going to push them up, and that's what you want. You want them to go up. I like to roll them up against myself instead of on the table. I don't know why I do that. I'd like to do it that. Make sure you have your cut ends down, the part that's exposed, if you know what I mean, instead of up. So pull up on it, twist as tight as you can, okay? Push them up out of the way. Add another pipe cleaner as close as you can. There's no pattern, there's no set method to adding this. All you're doing is just filling it in. Pull these through as tight as you can. Twist. You can cut all these all off after, just kind of flatten them out to get them out of the way. And that's really all you do. It just goes faster when I roll it up this way. If you're like me, you're impatient. I really can't tell you how many rolls I used. I wish I did. One of my members told me today that she got a really good deal on mesh. She knows who I'm talking about. She went to Walmart. I don't know when she went, but she got 25 rolls of 10-inch white mesh for $1 a roll. And so I think she's going to have more than enough. I can tell you I probably used, I think I had 9 of the Dollar Tree rolls of the white mesh. Now the Dollar Tree rolls of mesh are 15 feet, okay? The Hobby Lobby rolls, which are just a little bit shorter, they're 5.5 inches, they are 30 feet, okay? So I used, I want to say 9 of the Dollar Tree rolls, and I believe I used 2 of the Hobby Lobby rolls, and then I ran out, and I just went and I got 2 more. I don't know if I'm going to need both rolls to fill the rest of the wreath, but I bought 2 just in case, and those are 30 feet. So again, buy more than what you think you're going to need. You can always use it for another project. So this is all we're doing. Now I want to show you in a minute here. Right now what we're doing is we're just sticking the mesh through the holes in the canvas. Okay. But when you get to your wreath form, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different. And I'll show you that. What I like to do is when I'm transitioning over from the plastic canvas to the wreath form, see how I'm pushing them up as I go along, because you want your little spirals to go up. What I do when I'm transitioning, meaning when I'm going from the canvas to the wreath form, I like to put one piece of my pipe cleaner through the canvas, and the other end I wrap around the wreath form, and I'll show you. Again, pull up and then twist. That's important. You want your spirals to be going up. Okay, so here's what I mean by that, all right? There's the edge of your plastic canvas there, okay? And there's the first bar of your wreath form right there. You're going to take one piece of your pipe cleaner and put it through the very edge of your canvas. The other one you're going to wrap around that first bar. So you're making that transition from the canvas to the wreath form. And you can see that right there. It's so hard to see because it's white. But I've got one piece going up through the canvas here, and I've got one going around the wreath, the bar. Pull that tight and twist it. However full you want this is entirely up to you. If you want your spirals to lay flatter, you can let them lay flatter. If you want them to be pointing straight up like this, you gotta squeeze them in tight. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's basically it. Again, you can start in the middle like I did, and I showed you that example, and go out. You can start on the outside and go in. I think it would be easier to start on the inside and go out, only because when I did the other two and I started on the inside and I went in, it was kind of a struggle for me to push everything out of the way and get my pieces in the middle, because it was so full from going from the outside in. I kind of had to push everything out of the way. So this way, I'm pushing stuff in and adding from the inside out, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the camera for a little while, and I'm going to finish filling this in, because I think, you know, you guys have pretty much gotten it. As far as adding to your outside rings, this is why this one, I started going up to the outside ring here. Right now I've got these spirals tied to the first and second bar here. I think I'm going to add one to the third bar and see if that's probably going to be enough. You don't need to add your spirals to all. There's 4 bars on this. If you have 3 or 4, I don't know what, it depends on where you got your wreath form. You can get wreath forms with 3 bars, you can get them with 4 bars. This one happens to have 4. So you don't necessarily need to add your spirals to all 4 bars. It could be full enough just using 3. And that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to add this bundle to my third bar. And that's another thing too. If you want to add 3 per bundle, you can definitely add 3. I just started with 2, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to add this to my 3rd bar and see if that gives me enough fullness on the outside. It's really in all in how it looks to you. And if it covers your wreath form, that's important too. You don't want any bars of your wreath form to be showing. So this is on the 3rd bar here. And if the ones on the edge go out, that's fine. I mean, they're gonna go out because there's nothing to push them up straight on the outside. They're just gonna kind of go wherever they want to go, and that's fine. And you just gotta kind of look at it and see. So on the edge, it's not really showing. My wreath form's not really showing with that last piece there. It's kind of covering it. So I don't really think I'm going to need to put one. Sorry about that. I'm breathing. I don't think I'm going to really need to put one on that last bar. I think the 3rd bar is going to give me enough coverage. But again, that's entirely up to you. If you feel like you want to add one to the 3rd bar or the 4th bar, you know, the outside bar, however many bars you have, that's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to shut off the camera for a little while so I can continue filling this in. And when I come back, we'll show you how to finish your snowman. Thanks, guys. I'll be right back. Hey, guys, I'm back. It's been about a good hour since I paused the video. And I am very sad to say that I still did not have enough mesh. That little bit on this wreath form that I still had left to fill, I had 2 more rolls of Hobby Lobby mesh, and it did not fill it. This is what I have for his bottom so far. So I still need to fill in the top, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to make you guys wait for this video anymore. I need to get you this video. This was a very, I don't want to say challenging project, but it does take a lot of mesh. I can tell you that right now. And I liked a full wreath. So, you know, you may find that you're not going to need as much mesh when you do your project. I like mine very full. I like my spirals very close together. So I think you've gotten the idea of how to put your spirals on. This is what I have for the bottom half of him so far. Here is the top that you've already seen. So when you are done, this guy is going to be huge. Okay. I hope you have a big door. I hope you have a big wall. As you can see, let me hold on to him without having him topple over on me. You can see that when you get him all together, let me hold him with my hand here. When you get him all together, he's going to be a big boy. Okay. I can't even get the whole thing on the camera here. He is going to be, I still can't get the whole thing. He's going to be a very big boy, okay? He's going to be tall, all right? So here's what we are going to do. I'm going to put this aside for now because I have to finish that. But again, I want to get you guys the video. You've waited long enough. I think he even just looks cute like that. Just his head and his body. So we need to finish. Let's just pretend that we have all 3 done, okay? I want to get his smiley glued on here. I want to get that glued on. And then I can show you how we can do his scarf. Now again, when you get the bottom done, you're just going to zip tie it just like I showed you before. Zip tie the 2 frames together. They're going to bend a little bit, but that's normal. It's not going to, there's no way you're going to be able to get these wreaths to stick together and stay stiff, okay? I just want to put a little bit of glue. I don't want to go crazy with the glue. I don't want to make a huge mess. And this is just yarn, so as long as it has a little something to stick onto, it's not going to go anywhere. And again, for his mouth, all I did was take a little bit of black yarn and I made a little braid out of it just to make it a little bit thicker because I felt that the one string of yarn wasn't thick enough for his mouth. It looked weird having a one thin strip of yarn, so I just went ahead and I braided it. Actually a little bit thinner on this side, but you know, he's a snowman. He doesn't have to be, he has to be a little bit rustic, but that's a cute little smile. And again, his nose is made out of just the burlap I showed you. I just rolled it. I'm going to glue him in place. I don't know why I'm giving his nose a gender. If you would rather have a more pointy nose, by all means, make his nose a little pointy. I kind of like that nose the way it is. Get his nose glued in there and a glue stick. I just love these strings that come off when you're doing hot glue. My little snowman face. I feel like I had his mouth perfect until I glued it. Cute. Now, again, let's pretend his whole body is there, okay? Even though we only have two. What I want to do now is I want to make him a little scarf. And what I have for my scarf is this pretty plaid ribbon that I bought. You don't have to get too fancy with it. You don't have to make a fancy bow. I'm just going to kind of tie it around his neck. You give yourself some tails. Kind of like you're making a little scarf for him. Just make a little tiny knot so it stays. Get a little tiny bit tighter. I do need to turn them around for a minute, you guys, so I can see. Very difficult, as you've seen me do this before, to do something upside down, as I'm sure it's probably hard for you to do something upside down. Make it a little bit tighter. You just stay there, mister. Just lay you flat for a minute. I don't really want to put a bow. I just want to make like a little knot so then I can make his scarf sort of hanging down a little bit. It's a little bit long for me, so I'm just going to cut some of that off. I don't think I want to do the dovetail. I think I'm just going to angle it a little bit. Just like that. Maybe give it some little crinkles. There's this cute little scarf. See that? Nothing fancy. Just a little cute little scarf around his neck. He's a snowman. He doesn't need to be fancy. It gives a nice little pop of color, the red. Now, for another pop of color, we're going to add his buttons that go down. Well, what I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to add a couple here, and then when I finish his bottom, I'll add more all the way down. So, if you want to add a bow to your snowman, you certainly can, like tie a little bow there, but I like the way it looks with just a little bit of that hanging down like that. I like that. You can use wider ribbon. This is 1.5 inch ribbon. Okay. I'm messing with his mouth now. I think his mouth looks okay though. So I have some Dollar Tree ornaments. You don't want to get the ornaments too big. These might even be a little bit too big. Let me see if I even have some smaller ones that I can use. Let's see if these are going to be too big. These are going to be a little bit too big for me. So I think I have some smaller ones over here. And I do. Oh dear, knocks over every time I hit my desk. This is a good size to use. I got these from Big Lots. That's a nice size. So I think I'm just going to put a couple on him here, okay? I need to glue these though, they're not going to stay. And then I'll go put the rest down on his bottom half when I get his bottom half finished. How cute is that? So I'll put a couple on here, and then I'll put a couple on his bottom half when it's finally finished. That will be a joyous day when Mr. Snowman is finally finished. If I didn't have so many other classes I was doing, or I am doing, I would have a lot more time to finish Mr. Snowman. But you guys see all the other things I've been working on. You know that I'm not just sitting around twiddling my thumbs with nothing to do. I wish I was. Actually, no, I don't wish that. I like to be busy. That's not staying for some strange reason. That's staying. So I'm going to do 2 of these on this part of his body. And then when I get the other bottom half done, I'll put another 2. I could even say I'm done with him right now, but nah, I need to get him finished. After all this waiting, we need to finish Mr. Snowman. Now, as far as his hat, I was thinking about that because his hat is pretty wide. And if I'm going to be hanging this on a door, I'm not going to be able to use the whole hat, I don't think. I may have to cut it in half. I don't really want to ruin a hat by cutting it in half, but how cute that is. I may have to do that just so he'll lay flat against the door. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with that, but here we go, guys. This is what I have so far. I'm probably going to have to get another couple of rolls of mesh to finish him off. And I can't tell if my buttons are straight or not. There's my snowman. There's my almost finished snowman. But I think you guys have enough information. I've showed you enough of what you need to do to be able to get your snowman done, how to fill in your canvas in the middle, how to fill in the outside rings. You make it as full as you want it. It's your project. That's it. If you want to, using 10-inch mesh, use 10-inch mesh. If you want to use 3 bundles per section instead of 2, you can certainly do that. I'm trying to fix his head here. There's a couple pieces here. I like this little hat. I think I'm just going to kind of stick it on sideways like that and call it a day. And I'll probably glue that on. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for waiting for this. As soon as I get his bottom half finished, I will be sure to post a picture, but I think he looks pretty darn cute just like that, even though he doesn't have the bottom half of his body. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for waiting, and if you have any questions, message me in the group. That's off to you. Have a great night, day, whenever you happen to be watching this video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. You can stop it, and I can say bye-bye.